Most legendary police cars earned their reputation by chasing criminals. One ordinary American sedan earned its reputation by defeating time itself. It wasn't a sleek sports car. It wasn't a purpose-built Interceptor. It didn't have advanced electronics, anti-lock brakes, or even disc brakes on all four wheels. It had a wide front bench seat, a massive steel body, and looked like the kind of sedan a family might drive on a weekend vacation. Yet this seemingly ordinary four-door sedan reached a top speed that no American police car would officially surpass for the next 37 years. Think about that for a moment. Entire generations of police officers came and went before another patrol car finally managed to beat its record. The muscle car era disappeared. The oil crisis changed the entire automotive industry. Fuel injection replaced carburetors. Computers entered automobiles. Aerodynamics improved dramatically. Yet through all those decades, one police sedan from 1969 remained the benchmark. How did that happen? Why did American police cars actually become slower instead of faster for decades? And why did it take until the 21st century for another four-door patrol car to finally reclaim the crown? The answer begins long before that famous sedan ever rolled onto a test track. It begins with one of the toughest vehicle evaluation programs ever created. In the late 1960s, winning a police contract from the California Highway Patrol wasn't simply about offering the lowest price. Any manufacturer could build a comfortable sedan. Very few could build one capable of surviving California's endless highways at full throttle. The CHP demanded something far beyond an ordinary patrol car. Their officers spent hours covering vast stretches of open highway where suspects could easily exceed 100 miles per hour. Pursuit vehicles couldn't simply accelerate quickly. They had to maintain extreme speeds for long periods without overheating, losing stability, or destroying their brakes. Because of that, California developed one of the harshest police vehicle testing programs in America. Manufacturers weren't handed a checklist, they were handed a challenge. The engine had to be enormous for its time, producing enough power to push a full-size sedan well beyond normal highway speeds. Cars were expected to reach more than 115 miles per hour within a mile and continue accelerating toward 125 miles per hour over longer distances. Then came the punishment. The brakes had to endure repeated emergency stops from around 90 miles per hour with almost no time to cool between runs. After all that abuse, they still needed to function perfectly without excessive fade or dangerous pulling to one side. Most production sedans simply couldn't survive. Even vehicles advertised as high-performance street cars often failed once subjected to hours of sustained high-speed driving. The California Highway Patrol wasn't buying advertising claims. They wanted proof. And in 1969, one manufacturer delivered far more than anyone expected. That car was Dodge's full-size Polara. Today, it's rarely mentioned alongside famous muscle cars. It doesn't receive the same attention as Chargers, Challengers, or Roadrunners. To most buyers at the time, it was simply Dodge's practical full-size family sedan. It transported families. It served as airport transportation. It worked as government fleet vehicles. Nothing about its appearance suggested automotive greatness. Its smooth fuselage styling made it look large and comfortable rather than aggressive. Built on a body-on-frame chassis and weighing well over 2 tons, it looked almost too bulky to be considered fast. Appearances were deceptive. Hidden beneath that enormous hood sat Chrysler's legendary 440 cubic inch Magnum V8. Its official horsepower figures were impressive, but horsepower wasn't what made the Polara terrifying. Torque did. The massive V8 generated an enormous wave of low-end pulling power that never seemed to run out. Instead of screaming toward red line like smaller performance engines, the 440s simply shoved the heavy sedan forward with relentless force. It didn't need drama. It simply kept pulling harder the faster it went. Power flowed through Chrysler's famously durable TorqueFlite automatic transmission, paired with gearing specifically selected for sustained high-speed operation rather than quick city acceleration. Then Dodge brought the car to Chrysler's Chelsea Proving Grounds in Michigan. This wasn't an ordinary road. The proving grounds featured a massive, banked oval specifically designed for continuous high-speed testing. There, the impossible happened. The bulky four-door police sedan accelerated all the way to approximately 147 miles per hour. Some accounts place it just shy of 150. Either way, the number stunned everyone. Remember what this vehicle actually was. It wasn't a stripped race car. It wasn't a lightweight coupe. It was a full-sized patrol sedan with room for multiple officers, rear passengers, and all the equipment police departments required. Despite weighing well over 2 tons, it could reach 60 miles per hour in roughly 6.5 seconds while covering the quarter mile in the low 14-second range, performance comparable to many respected muscle cars of the era. Even more remarkable was where that speed came from. Many sports cars relied on explosive launches. The Polara didn't need to. Drivers often recalled that smaller, lighter cars could briefly pull ahead from a standing start. But once speeds climbed past 60, then 70, then 80 miles per hour, everything changed. The giant Dodge simply kept accelerating. Its mountain of torque erased gaps with surprising ease. Criminals who believed they'd escaped after the first few seconds of a pursuit often watched the huge sedan grow larger in their mirrors instead of smaller. That relentless mid-range acceleration became the Polara's signature weapon. Police departments quickly realized they weren't just buying transportation. They were buying an advantage. The California Highway Patrol valued the platform so highly that it worked directly with Chrysler to tailor components specifically for law enforcement use. Certain mechanical specifications were adjusted to suit the department's demanding operating conditions. Incredibly, despite ordering one of the fastest patrol cars America had ever seen, California still searched for ways to reduce costs. Many patrol cars were ordered without power steering. That meant officers wrestled an enormous V8-powered sedan through mountain roads and high-speed corners using nothing but muscle. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't easy. But it worked. America had built a police car so fast that nobody realized they were also witnessing the beginning of an era that would soon disappear forever. What makes the Polara's story so remarkable isn't simply that it became the fastest police car in America. It's that nobody ever truly defeated it. Its reign didn't end because another manufacturer built something dramatically quicker. Instead, the automotive world around it changed so completely that cars like the Polara simply became impossible to build. The decline began almost immediately, only a year after the record-setting 1969 model. Tightening emissions regulations forced manufacturers to reduce engine compression ratios. It was a small engineering change on paper, but its effect on performance was enormous. The mighty 440 Magnum that had powered the Polara to nearly 150 miles per hour began losing strength year after year. First came lower compression, then stricter emissions equipment. Soon, unleaded fuel became the new standard, forcing engineers to redesign engines. Catalytic converters and additional emissions hardware added further restrictions. Within only a few years, the once dominant 440 had lost nearly 100 horsepower. The engine block was still recognizable. The badge on the fender remained the same. But the heart of the machine had fundamentally changed. At exactly the same time, another crisis arrived. The oil embargo of 1973 transformed America's relationship with automobiles almost overnight. Fuel economy suddenly mattered. Large displacement V8 engines that had once symbolized strength became expensive liabilities. Government agencies responsible for managing hundreds or even thousands of patrol vehicles now faced dramatically higher operating costs. Police administrators began asking difficult questions. Did every patrol car really need a massive 440 cubic inch V8? Manufacturers responded by downsizing both engines and entire vehicle platforms. The enormous full-size sedans of the 1960s gradually disappeared, replaced by lighter and more economical designs. While these newer cars were easier to operate and cheaper to maintain, they sacrificed the effortless high-speed performance officers had come to trust. Veteran patrol officers noticed the difference immediately. Every new model seemed just a little slower than the last. Acceleration became weaker. Top speeds fell. High-speed pursuits that once felt routine suddenly became far more challenging. The decline reached its lowest point in the late 1970s. During annual police vehicle testing conducted by the Michigan State Police, The fastest patrol car available could manage roughly 133 miles per hour. That number deserves perspective. 9 years earlier, the Dodge Polara had reached approximately 147 miles per hour. Technology had advanced, engineering had improved. Yet America's fastest police car was now about 14 miles per hour slower than a sedan introduced almost a decade before. For the first time in years, criminals driving powerful sports cars often possessed a genuine speed advantage over law enforcement. On long, open highways, officers could no longer rely on sheer performance to close the gap. Something had to change. The solution, however, wouldn't come from another giant sedan. It arrived from an entirely different direction. By the early 1980s, the California Highway Patrol recognized that traditional full-size patrol cars could no longer satisfy their unique mission. California's vast highways demanded vehicles capable of sustained high-speed pursuit. Instead of asking for a better sedan, the CHP began looking at sports cars. Chevrolet appeared to have the obvious answer. Its Camaro Z28 offered impressive performance, aggressive styling, and proven V8 power. The Highway Patrol evaluated the Camaro extensively over many months, pushing it through demanding real-world testing. On paper, it looked perfect. Reality told a different story. Reliability concerns surfaced during prolonged high-speed operation. Components deep within the engine showed weaknesses that might be acceptable for civilian driving but posed unacceptable risks for patrol vehicles. The CHP couldn't afford mechanical uncertainty, so Chevrolet lost the contract. Ford seized the opportunity. Instead of offering a luxury sedan, Ford submitted a simple Mustang notchback equipped with the proven 5.0 D80 V8. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't loaded with expensive options, but it was lighter, less expensive, and most importantly reliable. Ford's proposal significantly undercut Chevrolet's price while delivering exactly the performance California needed. The result became one of the most famous police vehicles in American history. The Mustang SSP. The Special Service Package transformed the lightweight Fox body Mustang into a genuine pursuit machine. With its V8 engine and dramatically lower weight compared to traditional patrol sedans, it restored something officers had been missing for years: confidence. Once again, police could chase high-performance vehicles without feeling outmatched. Stories quickly spread among officers and drivers alike. One famous tale, whether entirely true or slightly exaggerated, described a speeding motorist who immediately surrendered after noticing a Mustang. Whether or not the story happened exactly that way hardly mattered. The Mustang had already established its reputation. Criminals respected it. Officers trusted it. But even this remarkable pursuit car had one unavoidable weakness. It wasn't really built for police work. It excelled at catching suspects. It struggled with everything afterward. Its compact rear seat left almost no practical room for transporting arrested individuals. Once an officer completed the pursuit, another traditional patrol car often had to arrive before the suspect could actually be taken into custody. The Mustang could end the chase. It couldn't finish the job. Manufacturers eventually recognized that departments needed one vehicle capable of doing everything. That breakthrough finally arrived in the 1990s when Chevrolet introduced a high-performance version of the Caprice police package, combining genuine V8 performance with the practicality of a full-sized four-door sedan. It represented a major leap forward, yet one statistic stubbornly refused to change. Despite all its improvements, the Caprice still failed to officially surpass the 1969 Dodge Polara's legendary top speed. The record remained untouched. Year after year, decade after decade. It wasn't until 2006, an astonishing 37 years after the Polara first shocked the automotive world, that another four-door police vehicle finally exceeded its official benchmark. Fittingly, the honor returned to Dodge. The Dodge Charger Pursuit, powered by a modern HEMI V8, officially reached 150 miles per hour, finally pushing beyond the number established back in 1969. There's a certain symmetry in that achievement. The company that created the original record holder also built the vehicle that eventually broke it. Almost 4 decades separated them, yet both wore the same badge. That incredible gap tells us something fascinating about automotive history. During those 37 years, engineers developed fuel injection, electronic engine management, computer-controlled transmissions, sophisticated aerodynamics, and still, none of those advances immediately erased what Chrysler engineers accomplished during the height of the muscle car era. The 1969 Dodge Polara wasn't remembered because it looked exciting. It wasn't remembered because it became a Hollywood star. It earned its place in history because it quietly accomplished something nobody expected. A plain-looking four-door sedan with a bench seat, steel wheels, and rear drum brakes became the fastest police car America had ever seen and stayed that way longer than many officers spent wearing the badge. Sometimes the greatest engineering achievements aren't the ones everyone celebrates when they're new. Sometimes they're the ones history quietly refuses to replace.